Hey, what's going on, my fellow idiots? Welcome back for another episode of Idiot Proof Cooking. So today I'm going to be making a beer bread in a cast iron pan. And basically a beer bread is just a quick and simple bread that you make with beer. Beer is the liquid that you use to mix it all together. They are super tasty and really customizable. You can put really whatever you want in them. I'm going to make mine with jalapenos and cheddar cheese. So I've got my jalapenos, my cheddar cheese, and my beer. I'm just going to set those all aside for a quick moment and get out a large mixing bowl with 2.5 cups of bread flour in it. From there, I'm going to throw in 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar and then a tablespoon of baking powder. I am then going to add in a teaspoon or so of kosher salt and then some freshly ground black pepper, a teaspoon or so of that. You can just add in as much or as little as you want. Give this all a quick whisking together to make sure it's combined, and then we're going to set the bowl aside for a moment and get out a box grater because we're going to shred some cheddar cheese, approximately 2.5 cups worth of it. I'm going to use an old cheddar. And then once I'm done shredding up all of the cheese, I'm going to get a little plate and set aside about a half cup's worth of the shredded cheese because we're going to use that amount to sprinkle on top of the dough as we bake it. The rest of it we're going to throw inside the dough. So speaking of which, go get out all of your dry ingredients in the mixing bowl and throw all of that shredded cheddar cheese in. Careful, Will, you don't want to spill any. And then just give this all a quick whisking together. Now the next thing we're going to do is add in 2 large jalapenos, and I'm going to wear gloves while cutting up the jalapenos to prevent the oils from the pepper sinking into my skin and burning me. I'm going to cut the jalapenos down the center, and then I'm going to remove the seeds and the ribs from the jalapenos. That's where the majority of the heat resides. And then I'm just going to dice the jalapenos lengthwise and then similarly dice them into medium-sized pieces. Once that's done, I'm going to throw them into all of the dry ingredients and give them once more a quick whisking to make sure everything is combined. Set aside the bowl for a moment and then get out a 12-inch cast iron pan and throw in 6 tablespoons of salted butter. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and stick the pan in the oven just until the butter melts. It only takes a minute or 2, and that accomplishes 2 things for us. 1, it greases up our cast iron pan, and 2, gives us 6 tablespoons of butter that we're going to pour into our bread mixture. Once the butter's in, it's time to add in our beer. Now I'm using a golden ale, but you can certainly use whatever kind of beer you want. Now you need 350 milliliters of beer, which is a normal size can, but as I have a tall can, I had to have a few sips to bring it down to 350 milliliters. Once you have 350 milliliters of beer, pour it in with all of your dried ingredients and butter, and then just use like a wooden spoon or a spatula to gently mix this all together. You don't want to overmix this, just mix it until it all comes together. It's still going to be kind of lumpy and clumpy. Then get out your 12-inch cast iron pan that has been greased down with some butter, and then we're going to scoop all of the beer bread batter into the cast iron pan. Once that's done, get out a separate metal spoon, and you want to spread out the batter so that it covers all of the bottom of the pan. Flatten it out so that it's nice and smooth and even across the surface. As you can see, Rose is inspecting, making sure I'm doing a good job. And then you're going to go get that cheddar cheese that you had set aside and sprinkle it all over the top. Oh, hold on a minute here. Rose wants to help. There we go. Thank you, Rosie. She's very helpful, and she wants to see this beer bread turn out. All right, we're going to stick this in our oven preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and bake this for the next 20 to 25 minutes until it comes out nice and risen and slightly golden brown around the edges. Look at that. Look at that. The cheese is nice and melty. It smells so good. It has like a rich and like bready and beer smell. It smells amazing. All right. Now, the only other thing we're going to do is sprinkle some green onions on top. This is completely optional, but I like green onions, and I think that's going to go really well with this. Now, we got to let this cool down, but after about 2 hours or so, it's time to try this out. Now, I'm using my offset spatula to run it along the edge of the pan, make sure that the bread doesn't stick anywhere, and then I'm going to cut off a little pie-shaped piece of it here, gently take it out, and look at that. Look at that beer bread. It looks awesome. It smells amazing. Like, just so good. The beer gives it such a great smell, and the cheddar and jalapenos. I'm looking forward to trying this. And you know what? Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's go in for a taste test, and it is amazing. The cheese and the jalapenos go so well, and the green onions on top. The beer gives it a nice, really delicious flavor. It is nice and fluffy on the inside. This is perfect. But anyways, let's call it there. I hope you like what you saw here today, and if you did, why don't you drop me a comment, like the video, or even subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching Idiot Proof Cooking, and we'll see you again next time.